All right, good morning, everyone. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay, guys and girls. It's in the yellow area, so it looks like it's in a good spot. So hopefully it is as the dog starts barking. Right before I hit go, I like try to swallow some coffee, and of course it goes down the wrong pipe. Oh, love me some coffee, but man, do I not like it in the wrong, breathing pipe. Oh, nice little burn there going. All right, so we're gonna do our best today, but yeah, market's pretty flat. Um, as you can see from the 24-hour pip changes, -6, -12. The biggest mover on the board right now is the dollar yen at 32 pips. That's coming off that long that we had mentioned yesterday, 2 days ago. Dollar Swiss 16, dollar CAD 11. It's really just kind of flattened out at this point. Um, it's retraced a little bit, right? It kind of found some buyers down there at the bottom. It didn't quite hit our zone though. Aussie 3, Euro pound 3, pound yen 30, and yeah. Um, and actually, the pound yen one is kind of interesting. Some of the news you saw down here, they're extending the state of emergency to 8 more areas. So not necessarily the best thing, but at this point, I feel like the market is kind of just absorbing COVID news. Um, doesn't seem like it's as touchy. Uh, but yeah. Also, Neuro, you're slipping this morning. Let you know, got a little bit of a bad start. Starting a little late today, and I go over and I check the channel, and I was like, huh, there's no post from Neuro today. So I had to type it in there, get it out for the group. And yes, I am giving you a hard time because it's Wednesday, and there's nothing really else in the market. I got to give somebody a hard time because there's nothing else out there. Um, you know, I send Ernest the my greatest fear right now, and you know what he says? He's like, high schools are still in session. He's in the great state of Texas though, so we'll see how long that lasts. If anybody shuts down, it's going to be Texas. Ernest loves his Zoom schooling. We all know Zoom schooling is your thing. Um, I'm like dreading it. I had the boys. So the boys had their. I think I told you guys they had their orientation yesterday, and it was interesting. So the boys are in 6th grade, so they're going to middle school. And this is an older middle school in the area. It's an IB school. That's why we chose to send them to this one, versus the one they could have went to, which is a bit newer. But it's like very much like 80s horror flick. Like if there was a murder running through the hallway, this is the school that they would use, right? Um, I'm expecting cancellation any day. Yeah, exactly, Ernest. Anyway, so they were doing the tour, and they're like, "All right, so all the 6th graders are in this hallway, then all the 8th graders are in this hallway, and then all the 7th graders are in this hallway." And I kept asking the boys, I'm like, "All right, so based off of what entrance you come in, where are you going?" Right? So I'm like, quizzing them because they're only half paying attention, right? They're going to be there the first day, both nervous, and all this, and it's just like, oh, and they kept messing it up, and their mother's like, "No, it's over there." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Now I see where the boys get their sense of direction." I'm like, "That is the front hallway. Their hallway's over here." So they're like, "Oh, but it's a big square." I was like, "Yes, but why would you walk 3 sides when you can only walk one?" Right? Right? And but it was interesting too. In 6th grade, all the girls are growing. So like Reese is a big kid. He's tall. But like we were like on a tour, and there was a girl like literally like almost a foot taller than him. Maybe not a foot, maybe like 8 inches. But it's funny because he's used to being one of the tallest kids. And in 5th grade, you started to see it. Like the average girl height was higher than the average boy height. But it's funny because you have some of these girls that are like towering over the boys. So it's pretty funny. Um, but yeah, so yeah, my kids are definitely going to be in this, horror flick movie, or middle school, and we'll see. But and they have to wear uniforms that they're not happy about. I'm like, oh, I'm loving this. This is great. And Asher's like, do we seriously have to go 5 days? I'm like, yeah, Asher. For all of time, it's been 5 days. Just because you had one year of COVID where you didn't have to go to school 5 days does not mean that that's the new norm. But he's very upset. He like his feathers are all ruffled about it. He's kind of annoyed. I'm like, you need to get over it. So I was laughing and poking him and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, there's our science room. But yeah, but what's scary about it is literally like the desks in the classrooms. I'm like, they're literally on top of each other, right? They're not 12 years old yet. Like I get it that there are 12-year-olds that are vaccinated, but they are literally sitting right on top of each other. I'm like, man, if COVID gets in here and like it's really that contagious and the kids start, I'm like, I mean, they're eating in a cafeteria, I guess, but man, they are literally in a classroom sitting on top of each other, right? I couldn't believe how small it was. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm afraid that they're going to be Zoom schooling it again in middle school, and it's going to be like, oh, it's going to be horrible. And of course, I walk in there, and I get somehow I'm on a list. I don't know. I don't know how I'm on a list, but I'm on a list. I go, I help out the school system, and like, God, Mr. Caprice is great. Of course, the assistant principal comes over, and he's like, "Oh, you're Mr. Caprice, right? You're on that list." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." You know, like I'm staying away from middle school like the plague. I'm like, it was cool to hang out. I didn't mind helping out. I get it. I'm good with kids, but no, no. I was like, I'm gonna put an end to it right now. Stop emailing me. So it was a pretty funny conversation. But yeah, that was my day yesterday. Um, and that was again, and and the girl, I don't know if I told you guys too. So the girl wants to paint her nails, but doesn't want to paint her nails. That's her new thing now. Every day it's I want to paint my nails red, only red, but she's kind of scared of it. And so I have one blue painted now right now. So I don't know if you guys saw it. I lifted my hand up in the presentation with Todd today. I was like, yes, I have one blue finger now because she insisted that she paint one of my nails. And of course, being a guy, I don't know. I don't have nail. I have no idea how to get nail polish off. So yeah, that was my day yesterday. Anyway, like I said, overnight's completely flat. No news. Durable good orders came in better than expected. Crude oil API numbers came in less bad, right? So we'll see where that continues to move. Besides that, there's nothing, right? There's one article that's pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys have read it or not. Came out about 7 hours ago, talking about the Fed's tapering has already started and why we need to prepare. And again, it's something we've been talking about. And then everything else right now is Jackson Hole, Jackson Hole, Jackson Hole, Jackson Hole. Starts tomorrow. Not much we can do with it, right? Today is probably going to be one of those days that maybe we get some movement, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot. And the reason why is just because, again, Jackson Hole is a very, very big deal. Okay. And it is tomorrow. So this is like the preparing for Jackson Hole. Um, and that's it for news. The only other thing was, Harris got stuck in Singapore because of a health incident in Hanoi. That's about it. Right. I didn't even know she was in Singapore, but okay. Um, and that's it. There's like nothing in here, right? A little bit of German sentiment, but really there's just, I mean, nothing. So yeah, all eyes are on Jackson Hole, and again, that starts tomorrow. Now, tomorrow morning, we do have some opportunity around 8:30. We do have the preliminary GDP numbers, which again are 6.7, expected to be even higher than they were before. Unemployment claims are supposed to be down, and the price index supposedly is at 6. And again, anytime you see price index, that's always a good kind of gauge of kind of where inflation is going to be. Natural gas tomorrow. Again, that could be another opportunity for us to make some quick trades, but headlines are going to be coming tomorrow, and that's what we're really looking out for. So tomorrow is going to be, again, what I would say is really the way we're going to have to handle it is probably finding decent levels and then really kind of establishing acceptable levels of risk. Okay. At any moment tomorrow, there could be a headline that will send things flying. Most likely, it's going to happen on Friday, not happen tomorrow. Because again, day one, it's kind of like, we believe in this, we believe in this, but they're nothing. I mean, nothing's really going to get decided. I mentioned in Nadex, I think one of the big, obviously, COVID. They're going to talk about that, right? And the unfair economy. They've already mentioned that. I am very, very curious to see, and this is a perfect opportunity. I mentioned in the next presentation as well about that global tax. Okay. Not that the global tax makes things equal, but if people, they were somewhat receptive to it before because everybody understands the loopholes behind it, but it will still be money that's collected and used for something, right? It'll be used for something. So, again, why I say it doesn't matter because subsidies in other countries are very much different. Yeah, China can charge a minimum of 20% corporate taxes, but then when they, knock it off their land costs and their taxes to the government and environmental, things, at the end of the day, they're not actually paying the same 20% that other countries are, other companies are in other countries. But at least it's 20% that they gathered and that they would be, collecting of some sort. That has to be, and again, they have to show that it's being used for something. So, is it going to be frivolous spending? Probably. Is it going to be something that's super important? No. But at least it'll be some type of spending and it'll be tracked somewhere. So, you know, it can provide something, right? Um, I'm curious to see if that's brought up again and if it's the same type of reception that it had the first time, right? But obviously, COVID's going to be the big thing coming out of the this whole thing. Travel, Afghanistan will probably be a big deal too, right? They will probably mention that to some extent, just to figure out with not so much the evacuation, but like what happens now with it. Um, again, there's not many people out there that are like, "Yay, the Taliban is great." Um, I think the general consensus is the Taliban is something to be concerned about. Having the entire country, kind of a big deal. But like I said, are they going to affect global policy? No, not really. But again, it will be one of those things that they need to watch out for. You know, and again, it could be, I don't know, it could be a spending thing, but who knows? At this point, I think the number one concern is going to be COVID, rollout of vaccines, and where do we go from here? On the vaccine front, I don't know if you guys saw it. J&J actually came out with data finally that talks about how their booster shot provided a substantial benefit, which is always great. Some good news, and again, that's the old technology, which is good. Creative accounting. Yeah, Eki, that's exactly what it's called. Yeah, creative accounting. Um, they learned it from us. But yeah, so that's tomorrow is like I said, today we got oil, and then it kind of just. But tomorrow we got enough decent moves, enough decent news that I think we'll have some potential in the morning. Okay. All right. I thought this was a funny chart. So if you guys are able to see that, this is the VIX. Okay. For those of you that don't know, the VIX is the volatility index on the S&P 500. Okay. Obviously, last week it was a little bit volatile, and if we go back, it tends to be pretty volatile. I mean, again, this is the beginning of August, not so much. This is what it's been so far this week, and not even like trending. Like at least this, you can say, yeah, it's trending down, it's lower. Yeah, it's good, right? Yeah, it's good, it's grinding. It's basically just sideways. It's literally staying, and I don't know if you can see the grid level or not. It's literally staying between this grid level right here. Oops, that's not flat. That grid level and that grid level, right? It's staying between 17 and 1750. And right now we're at 1725. All right, there we go. 28. We moved a little bit. So there's our volatility for the week. Hasn't kicked in yet. But I'm expecting whether one of these up or one of these down with Jackson Hole. So that's what we're dealing with. As far as the Dixie. So we had areas where, again, not that we were looking to buy, but an area where we expected some turnaround down at 92.67. I'm sorry, 92.76. Didn't quite make it. Again, we've had a little bit of a pop this morning, but it hasn't caused an overall kind of big movement. So again, dollar has increased a little bit, and again, we've seen it mostly in the yen versus the yen versus the CAD, and a little bit. What was the other one? Little bit versus these two European currencies, but besides that, that's it. I mean, dollar CAD's too. This is flat now. I mean, again, just not much there. So a little bit of a pop, but not having a big overall effect. Indices are delayed, but they're kind of split. Two are up, two down. And again, it kind of makes sense. It's the two ones that are all-time highs and the two that are not. So, starting off with the Aussie. So, again, this is what we had for the Aussie. Yesterday, we were sitting. Let's see. Yesterday, we were sitting back in this level. Looks like 10:30 was our reversal time, coming right at that 72.64. You guys know all about the reversal time, and I guess actually yesterday was the 12 o'clock one. Sorry. So 12 o'clock, we were sitting right here. We'd already pulled that reversal. All it did was come back down, grab the same level, base off of it again, and then push back up again. So not really that much movement. We're basically in the same exact spot, and what it did is it found a bottom here. This previously violated zone that was a top, and then it became the bottom and kind of takeoff point. It came back down and based on that same level. So again, we won't turn it. Well, we could leave it red right now because again, I think there's some downward side potential there. Not really much in there. Again, rock in a hard place with this one, right? We're having overall. I mean, you could say that this would be dollar strength or Aussie strength, but it's more dollar weakness than it is anything else. And I would say at this point, Australia's not in a great place. New Zealand is doing much better. I would actually, I hate to say it, but I mean, I think we need to find short opportunities in this one. With this basing in here, and again, you could arguably say we had one touch here, and one touch lower. There are some buyers here, and here, so it's not like it's a clean run all the way back down to this old level. But I do think that there's a short in here somewhere. And again, we could adjust it, and I could say that this is I could change this to yellow and say, okay, listen, this is the old area of interest. We know that this is a popular level. I could shrink it a little bit and kind of control it a little bit more. And again, decent touch, base across, and use that level. And then set a potential short position. And again, that really kind of stays in touch with kind of the more recent level of basing. 3 to 1 comes in right there. And actually, you know what? Let's increase this. I'm going to increase this just a little bit to that level right there. Um, there you go. 2.99. And that's not a bad spot. And like I said, it's going to have to go through this level and then kind of flirt with the second one, but I think it should be okay with that. Um, and I actually do think this one pushing back into the 7150-ish range, which is kind of right down here, kind of where this level was, right? If we change this across, and again, you guys can see the nice Harry Potter on that one. Um, oops, right there. 7156 is an overall target back to the downside. And again, Jackson Hole could help with that. Tapering talk, anything that really brings us dollar strength in. There's where our short comes in. And again, it's kind of the same position, kind of a break of 72.37. And again, I'd like to see a little basing in that, continue to push the downside. So Aussie yen. So Aussie yen, we were sitting right here yesterday. We had just kind of pushed back from that a little bit. And again, I mentioned it was a level. Wasn't really interested in the level. I'm more interested in the break through the top side of it. We've had 3 touches. Actually, here's 4 touches and 5 touches, and now it's basing in it for a 6th time. So I would expect it to kind of break through the top. We know we got a little bit more room to run. It got 41 pips to the top side. Aussie's got room to run to get back up. So it's kind of like if it runs back up, it's in a great selling opportunity at 72.64. In this case, again, if it runs up, great. If it turns and rolls, we know that we don't necessarily have buyers stepping in here till a couple there, but that was at 2:30. There was a lunch break. Really 79.30 back down to this level. So there's a decent, let's see, how much is there? There's about 40 pips in that one to the downside. So it's kind of a similar trade. I like in the Aussie dollar because, again, I would much rather play with the dollar fire versus the yen fire. Yen being just kind of a proxy that it's kind of a proxy through a proxy. I think playing against the dollar is a better situation here. So, and again, like I said, we kind of need. There's a couple ways that it can be done. One could be dollar strength. Two could be gold weakness. Right, could be another thing that we see in here. Um, with gold weakness, again, it's going to drag the Aussie back down again with it. So there's a lot of probable ways for this one to kind of turn and roll, right? But right now, as far as anything clean, though, I'm not necessarily as interested in getting short from where we are right now. And again, you could look at this level and say, listen, I got it. There's interest there. I want something aggressive, but I don't want to run it all the way up. You could take it from this level right here, right? Oops. Don't want to delete that. All right. So right here, right? That's 79.87. So yeah, I'd say aggressive entry. It's all right. It's not all the way at the top. I like the extreme. I like the fact that the 80-23 is tested already, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You got to take something quicker. And again, if it does rally up a little bit, it does have 12 pips to go. Doesn't quite match up to the Aussie dollar, but it's close. But I am looking for short opportunities. Euro pound, again, sideways movement. Look at that. We just sucked right back in again. I just keep continuing this across, and you can see it's spent so much time. Again, it's kind of the equilibrium point in here. Not much to say. Not much to say. Now, with it failing to go higher here, again, there could be an argument made that, look, some of these pullbacks, that they're getting lower and lower and lower and lower. And I do think, again, you guys know this, I'm more on the pound strength side versus the euro side. I think there's just more potential in it at this point. But I don't even have enough in this one right now to be able to say, hey, listen, the yen is strong versus the pound or the wheat. Which one's weaker? I can't. I don't really have any discernible way to tell you right now which one is probably winning this battle. It's so close. I mean, again, the 24-hour pip change is zero. It's now zero. So there is really no distinguishing factor from this one. And with a daily of ATR of 36, not tradable for me right now. Okay. Now, give us a week. Back in September, this thing should start picking up again. Again, back to school is big business, and again, that's where money starts, starting to flow back to normal, and we are out of the summer months. August has been, I would say traditionally, last year was decent. This year, not so much, right? Oh, excuse me. See, it's so boring, right? I think September will be picking up volatility again. It makes a lot more sense. And again, they're going to be good. There's going to be good catalysts and bad catalysts, but I think we'll get more movement. But with a daily ATR of 36 right now, this is the weakest. Survivor. This guy's getting kicked off the island first. Okay. Euro yen. So Euro yen, you can see that this one has actually been up to this range before. It's kind of gotten front run. Again, we are looking for a break of 128.62. From where we were yesterday, back in this level, again, it kind of pulled up and it's like, yeah, I was looking for a short, but you just need to go a little bit further. And then we hit it at the 3 o'clock candle, I guess actually the 4 o'clock candle today, and it's kind of stabilized and kind of pushed back up again. So it's kind of set up here. It's hit this level. I wouldn't say it's the freshest level now. I mean, it's been able to hold, but then it base right below it. So at this point, I'd probably be looking even a little bit higher, probably up into this 129 range. And again, remember this 129 did have a spike that went just a little bit through the top, but it's one of those things. I mean, it poked up and got front run, and sellers stepped in. It did the same thing again, did the same thing again. Finally went through and got pushed back, but then we got immediate demand coming in right below it. So I would say at this point, with the open just coming through and the pressure going up, I don't think this level is going to hold at this point, especially with this spike. The fact that it went up to the 90% mark on there, it's kind of like if you didn't get short here, you're not going to go short on the next entry. It just went way too deep into the zone. It went probably 80-90%, showing us that really the only area of sellers left is that, which in this case is let's see, the total width of that zone is 2 pips. So it's not even covering the spread anymore. So it shows you that just kind of descended. And actually, look, it just pushed through the top. So it just peeked its head out. And again, that's what happens when a zone gets pierced at 90%. So you can remove that one. Like I said, I would have been like what, a 2-to-1, probably almost a 2-to-1. Oops, I wasn't trying to move the whole thing. 1.5 to 1. So again, that would have been a stop loss at break even. Okay. Um, And again, most of the time when you started to see this chopping here, you're like, yeah, I'm out. I'm out. So you should have banked a few pips on that one. That's about it. But right now, I think we need to wait 129.36. And again, it's probably only a B-rated zone by the way that it was formed here. If not, you can see that there's not really a lot of strong momentum until 130.05. So a lot of room on this one. And like I said, the euro is so boring right now. The euro yen has a little bit more kind of push to it, but not by much. Let's see, is the euro up now? Yeah, it's up to 4 now. So it looks like the euro is finally picking up a little bit of strength, which again, not a bad thing. But I'd look for a reversal up top. I'd remove this one right now and take that from there. Again, still holding this 128.62, waiting for that one to kind of break. And again, targets down much lower. So wait a little bit more. Euro dollar. Euro dollar's not too much. And we talked about this yesterday. If you're wondering what the heck this symbol is, it's not like any like demon worship or anything. I was just talking about how it's funny that it had this big of a push down, and if we took the equilibrium point from point to point, you can see that I just copied this one, and it was the exact same push up again. And then it was kind of like, what did it do? It pushed up, and if I continue this across, right, it's kind of funny that I can take this and talk about here, and it goes that below line, and then same thing. It comes right. It got close, not quite as far, but you guys can see how it's all the same, basically the same bit of movement off that kind of equilibrium point. So right now, I mean, this is where we were yesterday morning open, and we're kind of sitting there right now, getting a little bit of a push now. And again, this is what we look like this morning. Here's your 3 o'clock candle. We pushed up, we hit that 4 o'clock window. Again, the 4:30 was their reversal time. It dropped back down again, and now the open is basically straight up. So the way this is moving now, I would bet you that there's some type of release or some type of headline that came out. Because if we're still spiking in this candle now, mm, that shouldn't have done it. So international trade per se adjusted increased 4%, 6.4. I don't see it yet, but that doesn't mean there wasn't a headline out there. But that looks like there was a headline to control that kind of flicker back and forth. But this is what we know. We do know that there are sellers sitting up in that level. So will it be able to make a sustained run all the way up to 117.73? I don't know, but that's where I'd be kind of looking for some from shorts. We know that there's buyers that are kind of establishing themselves and kind of, I would say that this is probably a decent target. I don't know that we'll get down all the way to 1707 at this point. If we run from that top level down, that's 65 pips down. If you run from this near level here, um, that would be about 35. So it's not a bad level. This level here, how much risk is in this one? About 10. So yeah, I like 10. You guys know I'm all over 10 pip stop losses. I would say that this is an aggressive entry. 3-to-1 is right there. So you can see it's not really asking too much, but grabbing 30 out of that one, not bad. Not horrible. Ideally, this one kind of pops up in the next 30 minutes and then hits it at 10:30 and then rolls. But let's see, it's coming in right around there. Okay. All right, pound yen. Look at this one. It's just going crazy. No, it's not. It's actually not. So yesterday we talked about this. We ended up just barely missing this one at 9. For our midday presentation, we were sitting here. We're slightly higher. It's up now about it's about 50. So I mean, it's the big mover right now. I guess it's the I guess it's the one that's moving the most, but only because we had the kind of spike down from where we were 24 hours ago. It was this spike down um, is helping it. Right there's our 9. There's our 9:30. At 10 o'clock, it comes all the way back up. This is going to eat up a lot of this. It really hasn't moved that much. It's the fact that yesterday at at this mark, we pushed all the way down, and then 10 o'clock we were sitting over here. So that's it's the old price that was moving, not the current price that is moving for that 24 hours. In fact, from 6 o'clock on, we've only moved 7 pips. So it's the past making it look like the future is moving. But I would say if we're able to punch through again, we have lower highs. Again, there is a small little level sitting right there. And again, that's what we hit the push back down again. I wouldn't use it as a short. I'd wait for the 5109, right? The 5108, 5109 level, I think is a better level, right? Again, we've seen sellers there. We had great momentum to the downside. It's kind of pushed back up again. Drawing an intraday kind of curve again that would put us in the right area. We're in kind of in the blue no man's land. So, right now the curve isn't as effective, but I would say that look for a potential rollover to this one to the downside. Um, but like I said, don't necessarily like this. It could turn here, sure. I mean, it's done it once already, but with buyers kind of established themselves right below, I don't think it's got like a big room to, you know, nothing crazy that we can, I think it'll break through and push back to the downside. And again, I wouldn't be willing to get long until we got back down to, you know, back down here, right at the 150.04, 100 pips down. Pound dollar. Again, here's that area of interest. And again, I said we're not doing anything with it. That's why it is hollow. I don't even have it yellow, but look at this. Flat here, flat, flat, all the way through again, all the way through again, all the way through again. And now we just pushed into it. We'll see if we start to turn. And again, if it does start to base in this level, that follows what we're seeing inside of the pound yen. As far as this one goes, again, I got to sell up there at 136. I'm sorry, 137.86. Do have a buy down here that I like at 136.11. You can see that this is a level that we just kind of bounced off of. And it was an 8:30 open. It was decent. Again, you should have been able to grab that one. I believe this one too would have been in an uptrend setup on 30-minute and 4-hour. So that is a level that you could have got long in which case you would have been. And for those of you that don't know what the uptrend setup is, the uptrend setup is inside of the Forex Masterclass. I don't cover everything from the class here. Like I don't typically talk about what the trend states are in these presentations. But for those of you that do know what the trend state is, it gives you a trigger to let you know when you should be looking for longs or shorts above and beyond what the curve is. Okay. Kind of dealing with current trend. Believe that this one did come up as a 30-minute, 4-hour uptrend setup. Okay. So it's one that you should have gotten into. And it's pushing, it's 1.5, almost 2 to 1 at this point. I'd say it's probably like a B-rated trade just because we know that there's a lot of basing here, but at least we were clear. It is a little bit above. It's going to go past the 2 to 1, but you are going to have to watch out for this little level right there. Okay. That little level, again, some buyers, some sellers stepping in there. So ideally we can get up on this one before 10:30. I would like this one to be complete before 10:30. I think we'll run into problems, but at this point you should have, 5 pips banked on this one anyway. Yeah, you're up 23 at this point, so you got plenty of room. All right, Dollar CAD. Dollar CAD is just, Dollar CAD had all this movement because of oil. Again, this is all oil. This is all oil. Okay. Now it did turn in a larger 4-hour time frame. Now we've kind of formed a kind of a point of stabilization, right? Kind of a sideways channel again, and it looks like we're going back into the channeling. Now, obviously, crude oil will help this one today, but I would say right now, the way that it looks like it wants to push back down again. And that could be for oil. Like I said, oil right now looks like it is red. And again, we'll see if it's turning around. Look at it in a second. Actually, let me see. Yeah, see how it's pulling back? It should be there. So yeah, we'll see where this one stabilizes. This one will bounce afterwards. If they do 2 tickets at the end. Yeah, you could just do Exclamation point ticket and just do it twice. That works also. Debbie's like, the way that you win is you do this. Debbie's giving away all her secrets, guys. um, right. Thursday, Friday. Yeah. Oh, they're gonna mess this all up. I would say more the downside. Wait, now hold on. See, you should have told him after the draw. Yeah, yeah. Uh, what confirmation? Oh, my wife is updating all the boys like emergency contact information, and it's like drives me crazy when she does this stuff. So, okay, and now she's trying to get. It's so funny. Some people just don't listen. So, like, the principal told us what we could do yesterday and what we couldn't do. And guess what she's doing? She's now messaging the grade assistant principal, asking if we can do what the principal said we couldn't do yesterday. Uh, yes, the boy's mom is that person. All right, Dollar Swiss. So Dollar Swiss was cruising, right? We were bouncing, and we're back in that level again. Whoops, it should be this. Kind of the same thing, right? Was the bottom, right? Bottom, top, base, 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 top, peak, 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 peak. Back in the same spot. So anybody trading dollar Swiss this week is not doing a whole lot. 90.84, 91, 98, top and bottom. So I held the torch long enough. It's Briggs season. Briggs is like, I got it worked out. Found a new system. All right, so dollar yen. So dollar yen, we talked about this yesterday. It took a nice bounce at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Yes, 9 a.m. yesterday. At 12, we were sitting right up here. We had just already actually completed it, completed again, and then ended up pushing higher. There's not really a whole lot of sellers confirmed until we come into this area here, probably around the 110.12 area. We're still pushing, although we are basing now, which kind of is a sign that we could have a little bit of rollover here. Particularly with the way the candles are formed. It didn't really hit a great area of sellers, so it's not a trade I'm interested in getting into right now. But I would say, looking at this, the way that's formed, the big question is how many buyers kind of established themselves down here. It was tested, but it did push them pretty deep again. If we do roll, I would say that I'm really, again, not interested in. I don't even know if I would trade that zone again because we did push about 90% of the way through. I would probably adjust my buying even a bit lower. Probably down in like this area here. And the reason I say that is because this has been pushed, and if I had to shrink this, it would. It's basically saying that there's that much left in there, right? Because that's where where the buyers push to. Couple buyers here, but you can see that it reached all the way down. So I would say, ooh, probably on this one, the next buyers for me would I'd be willing to get in is a 109.17. Again, this is a short profit target from that level. Let's put this here. 1, 2, 3, right there. Okay. Um, so yeah, so I would say 110.12. Look out for that one. I would not be willing to take the 109.47 again. It just pushed too deeply. I guess you could. Let's see, how much is there? There's only 22, so I don't even know if you would take it short through there. It's got a way. It's got a ways to chop through. The 109.17 again. I think that's one that its last push in, it barely pierced it at all. So we have to give it a shot. But again, if any break through the bottom side of that one, any breakthrough, there's definitely a Harry Potter setup down here. That again, I don't know when it's going to get down there. It's a bit of ways away. It's 80 pips, so it's like 2 days away. But Jackson Hole could definitely send it down that direction. But if we break through 109.10, look for 108.81. Okay. All right, I see all the coins are red. AMC and GME are down after being up like 30% yesterday. Doji down 2.7. Natural gas is up again. Look at that big spike with natural gas. Look at these spikes, man. Natural gas is going crazy. Let's look at the indices first. Let's drop those down. Oops, not the 15-second. Wow, I can't believe it's an option. Like, who uses a 15-second chart? So here's the indices. This is up 0.09% right now. Um, I was really hoping we'd have 4,500 today before the Jackson Hole stuff tomorrow. Especially with everything we heard with the infrastructure. Pfizer, excuse me, JJ. Ah, I couldn't get that one in. Ah, I feel like my wife slipped in the decaf again. She does that occasionally. Now I'm trying to see if I can like taste the caffeine on my thing. Um, no, I don't. Feel like she swapped the decaf in. Or you know what? Maybe she got coffee. So when I did my refill, maybe my refill is decaf from her cup. Hmm. We have like one of those like fancy like Ninja coffee makers, and I typically will run like my first cup in the morning, right? And then I'll run back down and do like a refill, like a mini cup, kind of like a topper offer type thing. And I think I'm used to like the 2 cups of caffeine. Now, if I have two and like I don't eat, I get jittery. But I feel like today she snuck down, grabbed coffee, and she's probably doing decaf. The reason why is because she wasn't allowed to have coffee in the hospital, but since she came home, she's back on the. And it's really not. I shouldn't say that. She she does it more for the creamer, the French vanilla creamer, than the coffee. I think there's more French vanilla creamer in the cup than actual coffee. Um, but I feel like that's what I'm dealing with. Maybe she listened to Monday session. And it's payback time. No, she doesn't listen to the sessions, thankfully. Well, that's not true. She is in the room next to me. And so I changed offices. I told you the guys that. Like I'm in the boys' old bedroom, which is next to my bedroom, which is technically going to be the girls' bedroom. Like her bed's like on the side, and I'm on the other side. But the wall, it's not the thickest wall, so she can hear me when she's in her office because she has the old office now. So I haven't soundproofed the wall yet. She was like, "Yeah, I heard you talking about me again." I was like, "I would never do that." So she does hear some of the things I say about her. She's probably over there right now, like, "Uh huh, you talking about me again?" I bet you. I bet anything. She definitely is. Anyway, as far as the indices, again, we have every reason to be positive today. The question is, can we break through these sellers over here at 44.90 to 44.92? They've held firm so far, but again, there has now been 3 touches of that level, kind of that 80 at that 87 mark. I would say I think we make a push through it. I think today is the day that we got to hit. I think Jackson Hole only will talk about, excel. I don't know. I mean, maybe if it's super negative, they talk about how bad the coronavirus is spreading everywhere and how we need to lock down the world again, which I don't think we're going to do. But I think today's the day. I think today is the day that it needs to go higher. I don't know. There's got to be some news that we get today. But I feel like today is the day. But we need to break through. So I think as far as a trigger goes on this one, again, I think that 44.90. If we can break through, maybe an end of the day rally pushes us up to 4,500. It would be great to go in. And again, not that this presidency is as important with like where the stock market is and things with being strong and coming off with a strong kind of stance. Um, you know, if Trump was president, then absolutely this would go to 4,500 today. He would make some phone calls just so they could say, "Hey, listen, our economy is doing great. It's very strong, the strongest, right?" But different president. So I don't know that we're going to get a tweet today to push us there, but I feel like 4,500 is today is the day that we got to do it. We need some basing, and again, if we get some basing at this level, that could be a nice little takeoff point higher. We do know again this level lower, the 44.76 is still supported. It's been hit 3 times, 4 times now, and buyers like that area. If we do break through, though, again, we do have a racetrack scenario. So again, we've hit it multiple times. If this thing turns south suddenly and goes quick, 44.73 is going to be a trigger to take this one much, much lower. And again, this one could potentially run all the way down to this level down here at 44.54. Okay. NQ. Basically the same thing. This one got really, really close. It did break through, which is great. And that's a great thing. We'll see if we can go higher. This was yesterday's trade setup. That one is now officially out, and we can. I guess we could use this, but turn it yellow. That could be a potential stabilization point later. We'll see if we can get the stabilization or not. But yeah, we're so close here. And like I said, they're kind of. This is one of the green ones. There's 3 that are green now. The Russell is up, which again tends to be the more aggressive. But again, 15,400 is what we talked about. That small trade yesterday, all it's done is kind of build new areas up higher. And again, this one does have that same kind of like if things turn bad, If things turn bad, 15,300 is going to be where we start looking for shorts. And this one actually has even more room to run to the downside. YM. YM is quite choppy. Now, we talked about this yesterday, looking for these to break, and it did. You can see the fourth time it came down, it did break. It pushed through, it came back up, grabbed some of the sellers, and then pushed down and came across. YM is the weakest. The manufacturing numbers today, they were good, but I mean that was the immediate kind of response to that was shooting straight down and then coming back up and retracing. Um, I would say right now, again, because it's not at the all-time high mark, if we do push up into that 35 kind of 400 range, again, aggressively at 35 381, I think there would be shorts in here. Okay. The greatest move any president. Trump, yeah, he said that every day. Right. Right. No, but yeah, all I'm saying is that he would have made sure that we were at all-time highs when he went to that meeting talking about how great the country is. Right? Not that the stuff it just the difference between Republican Democrats where Trump is using the price of the market as kind of a show of success, where this one could care this side of the aisle doesn't necessarily care about where the markets are because remember technically on paper, right? Technically, they're supposed to be anti Wall Street, even though many of the decision makers are making money hand over fist with the stock market right now. Remember, they're anti, right? They want to tax the heck out of people that are rich, right? Except senators. That's always the exception, right? We don't have to use their health plan. We don't have to use, your government taxes aren't the same for us. They have all the special rules. He would have. Yeah, he would have jacked it. But anyway, I would look for shorts in this one. YM is, again, if everything turns negative, I think this one will get bad quickly. And again, you can see that it kind of came down and, we marked it off yesterday where there's like the last kind of true set of buyers, and that's what we touched this morning. So I think YM is kind of the indifferent one. Russell, Russell, talk about volatility this morning. I mean, talk about a spike up and down. We did not get the break of this level. It was able to maintain, and we talked about getting here down to the 2203. It didn't. It just kind of continued to stabilize itself. So we did not get back down to that level. That it is still a level that I'd watch out for. But right now, with the way that this volatility is right now, I mean, again, here's your 830 candle. I mean, or your 930 candle, this is 17 points in 30 minutes, and now it's giving us a little bit of red. So I think it's good. It's obviously gonna be much more volatile than the ES or the YM or even really the NQ at this point. But I don't really have any sells in here until we get. You guys can see it here. 2244. That level right there. That'd be the first time I have any type of a sell signal for me. So, I think if we stay positive, if it's not starting its 1030 reversal right now, and again, it's not even a reversal really. I mean, we opened here, came all the way down and came back up again and closed green, came all the way up and then kind of pushed really all the way back down again. We're just a little bit higher. We're right in the middle. I mean, we're in like no man's land right now. I don't really have. There's just not much there. Let's mark this off so it's a little easier for you guys to see. This I don't need anymore. How can half of the country that pays no income tax demand the other? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of I don't know. It's all right. You see like those things where it talks about how 50% of the population lives in like 5% of the country or something like that. It's kind of the same thing. Like why just be like if it's based off of sheer numbers, it's like so you're basically saying that all of those other people you don't matter, right? It's kind of a I don't know. There's many different ways to look at it, unfortunately. Many different ways, you know? Like everybody deserves a voice, but I do feel that, I don't know. I'm just not one of those people that everybody like I don't think that anybody else is better than anybody else, but I do think certain people should have more control over other people. Um, I believe that inequalities exist. I believe that we can do the best we can with inequalities, but that's just it's not a color thing, it's not a price, it's not an income level thing. Some people even I mean just on a basic level, some people have really really good genetics, some people do not have good genetics. inequalities exist. To try to put a facade that everybody's the same, we're all equal, I think is incorrect. Um, I think everybody could be better. I don't care what they are, right? Whether it be a color, income level, whatever it is. From everybody can always be better. You know, I just think that I mean, even between like my sister and I, like I'm not better than my sister, right? But we definitely have differences, and to say that we're exactly the same in everything in life is just it's not right. It's not fair for her. It's not fair for me. We're just different people, but there's nothing wrong with celebrating the differences, you know. So yeah, Ernest, they're only happy when they're unhappy. Haven't we figured this out already? Right? I do think the cancel culture is horrible, though. I do think this is. I do think that the state that we are in right now, I think is. I think I think the toxicity that everybody is trying to erase right now. I think the medicine is worse than the disease. Right? The cancel culture. Oh, we're not going to do this. It's like really because we're in a country with free speech. If they want to say that, then they should be able to say whatever they want to say. You don't pay to support an actor's ideals. You pay to support what they do, their job, right? Like, what do you believe your car mechanic does? Where do you buy your food? The guy that grew your food, what are his opinions? It's kind of the same thing, right? You can say, well, oh, I don't like that person because he believes in X. Great. Your farmer that grew your food believes in X. So are you not going to buy food from that farmer, or you do not know, right? Like, it's kind of one of those things, right? But I think the cancer culture is just so toxic. Um, I think social media has turned the complete wrong way. It's like, oh, let's get this person fired. Yeah, let's celebrate in somebody else's unhappiness. Yeah, like, come on, you know. I think that stuff is just dumb. They're calling that elitist now. Wait, they're calling what elitist? What's elitist? Oh, now Neuro's got me now. Like, oh, what elitist? What kind of elitist? Look at that. So we're calling for oil or gold to go down, and it's going without us. Damn you, gold! All right, so this was the fib. So I'm trying to throw fibs on certain charts because like Todd gets really excited. He's like, "Oh, people love this stuff." Yeah, there's a level, the 6 to 1 8, kind of the stop loss is sitting right up there. I'm gonna delete it so we can see it because we don't necessarily need it. Yeah, gold's going down. I mean, we talked about buyers coming in. We're at that level right now. We have some buyers coming in. Next level is coming a little bit lower, but overall, we're looking for this to come down to 1772. Um, you guys care way too much about what other people say. Ernest, I only care about what you say. That's the truth. I will say though, Ernest, if you didn't cook such good food, I wouldn't care. Thank you for your valued opinion, Neuro. What did Neuro say? Oh, yeah. Neuro's Neuro is very opinionated. If you haven't figured it out, Neuro has a lot of very strong opinions. But I'm telling you right now, if the apocalypse comes, Ernest is the guy that you want to be friends with. Ernest has got it all figured out. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Ernest will have like a compound. He'll have like yeah. He's the guy you want to go to. He is golden. Oh, you should. Until you put no, no, no. We're not doing kale bacon. But and Ernest, I like kale, but I don't mind. Yeah, I like kale. I'm good with kale, but I like bacon. But I want my kale to be separate than my bacon. I don't need it to be the same thing, right? Like all these people, like I like it's the same thing, right? Again, we got 1 minute before I got to look at oil, but it's kind of the same thing, right? There's the cauliflower buffalo chicken wings, right? They're not wings; they're just cauliflower brochettes or whatever the heck they're called, right? I'm fine with that. I like buffalo sauce. I think buffalo sauce on cauliflower would not be bad. Like I like dipping cauliflower into like the veggie trays and stuff like that. I'm cool with that. But why do we got to tell people this is a replacement for buffalo chicken wings? No, it's not. It is a vegetable dip with hot sauce on it, right? I'm cool with that. I like that, right? Why do we got to make something that it's not? But I do like me some chicken wings. It's a different flavor. You're not going to simulate it. You're not going to be like, oh, this is tofu. Doesn't it taste almost the same? No, I'm not looking for almost. right? Do I want almost the cure to cancer? No, I want the cure, right? Give me the chicken. Who said I care? Or if we- you guys need green chili. Yeah, I know. Joel is the one that messes it up with all his veggies. But anyway, gold is obviously coming down to where we talked about. Silver, it's just following through. Again, silver's the bigger mover. We talked about it yesterday. We were looking for it to come up, and it missed it by just a little tiny bit. But we were seeing the lower highs in there, and again, it came up one more stab, didn't quite get as high, and continued to collapse to the floor. I would say again, we're in a very interesting spot. There's no news right now that's really kind of moving the markets. Watch out for all this. This is very, very ugly, very, very tiny bottles. It's bottles, bodies, and it's a lot of wick in there. So not really. I would say look for it to collapse. Like I said, we drew it in the next talk. The 2319, I think, is really where our targets need to be to the downside. I'd like to see us base in here first and then collapse. I don't know if we'll come just straight down. Let me see. Oh, U.S. is reviewing its trade policy with China. Mm, I love this. Thanks for being prompt. 7 months after establishing office, we have yet to establish a trade policy with China. Um, we worked so hard before, and China was like, "No, no, no, we'll wait for the next guy. Nah, we'll wait for the next guy." And now you wonder why. It's been 7 months, and we don't have a true trade policy yet. Oh, look, and says the U.S. remains committed to addressing China's unfair trade policies, but after 7 months, why would they change it? Right? I mean, I don't know. Like we were at their throats with a trade war and everything else, and it was like, let's get stuff done now. And now it's been 7 months, and we don't even have one yet. Yeah. All right, let's do oil. All right. Oh, oil's already doing its thing. It's already moving too much. Let me bring this back up. I don't see stabilization yet. You're not stabilizing. 14 there. Orange up. Blue up. The 1 to 3 is already done on this one. Your 1 to 3 was there. Um, all right, that is what we're dealing with. So 1 to 3's out. We don't really have any type of stabilization level in there. I mean, I guess you could talk about a little bit of a level. Like if we're really trying to get something out of this one, you could say that there is a small level right there. But typically, what we're looking for is we're looking for this to hold. We're looking for that to hold and stabilize. I'm not really seeing anything that's stabilizing for me. 1 minute. Yeah, I don't really see any really true hold in this. Um, there's not really. It's just not there. I mean, problem is the wicks on that one. That would have been. Those three bodies are great, but the wicks back and forth are not that great. Like you can see it went all the way down, all the way back up, all the way down, all the way back up. So on the 5 minute, it looks great, but it was not holding on the 3 minute whatsoever, and even on the 1 minute. And I guess we had a little bit in there, but again, not in a level. And it's not. This is the level we wanted to stabilize and hold in, and it's not holding. Um, hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say this one is not ideally set up today. Unfortunately. Let me see. I'm not gonna have enough time to pull this real quick, but let me see if we got anything Nadex wise close. It's not set up for the news. It's not meeting the requirements today for the actual setup. Whoops. Um, Commodities, oil, daily. 20. Yeah, I mean it's calling on the daily. It's calling for an 80 cent move up or down. Yeah, it's calling for 80 cents on this one. So mm, I wish it's not giving us a hold, unfortunately. So it looks like this one was all set up pre move today. Um, We'll see what it does. Like I said, it isn't a level. Again, it looks like it's ready for a bit more of a pop, but I don't have a target point with any of these candles, and this is really not the ideal. And you can see it's already hit and already kind of pushed. I guess if we want to say that in this 5 minute candle, it is now stabilizing and stuck here, that it should be more of a to the top side type position, right? But yeah, I would say yeah. See how it's popping? I was gonna say that's about the only thing we had there. Let's see what the news is. Um, yeah. So they missed it by a lot. So yeah, so there was your pop on it. But yeah, very sloppy. I mean, literally, it held the last 2 minutes. It should have done that well in advance. Um, oops, not that one. Would have been this long. So yeah, I mean, it popped. There's your three. Can I get it dead on? There we go. There's your three. Big down draw. So, and remember, it needed to move 80 cents to the top side, which would have been what did I say? Um, oh, the 68 mark. Yeah, Nadex needed to move all the way up to here. Kind of a big move. Kind of a big move. There you go, about to be done. I hate when it does this. It's like, no. Anyway, it's above. It's already made it out of the top. Oh, hold on, I adjusted it a little bit. Right there. It's actually, it would be a little bit before that, but right in there. Anyway, so again, there's your news trading for the day. That's all. That's all we could have done. The best stabilization we got was in that kind of small level on the 5 minute. And again, all it did was retrace back down again and give us that little push. So, yeah, like I said, not an ideal trade setup today. It went in the direction it should have went in. Again, there was a stabilization, there was the up, but wah wah wah, nothing really that was tradable. But if you did take it, again, you should have been up, and again, you should have collapsed, got your profit target already. God, every time I come back to this chart, it messes it up this way. It's like it has like a snap function. It won't let me snap to the right line. No, I just want to snap. Yeah, it's not gonna let me snap on here. Oh, whatever. It's not gonna let me snap. But anyway, you guys should have got low on that one. You would have been fine. And it did come out the top if I had the snap right. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and do our drawing. We got 9 people in. We got 11 tickets purchased so far. It is for 50 pip chips because again, we're still trying to play catch up from last week, and it is Wednesday. Who won last time? Was it did Marina win? I think it was Marina, right? Marina? I think it was Marina. I think it was Marina. Can I go back? No, I can't. I got to finish one first before I come backwards. All right, I win today, and you guys can call me. Yeah, I think it was Morena yesterday. Well, Monday. All right, so let's close it. Let's see. So Morena would be going for 100. Everybody else would be going for 50 today. All right, winner of today's drawing is, and again, I'll check to see who won. Oh, it's rigged. It's totally rigged. Totally rigged. Totally rigged. Let me check it to make sure it was not Neuro. No, it was Marina before. So Neuro gets his 50. Ooh, look at this. Oh, he's close. He's getting there. Getting there. On his heels. Ernest is going to be eating that cow bacon for a lot longer than we thought. So, but yeah, look at that big number. Big number. And I love this. Look, it's -3, but yet the API reading says it was -1.6. So do they ever tweak the numbers a little bit? Yeah, it's tweaked. So it's rigged. So, all right. With that said, guys, I am out of here. I will catch you guys tomorrow. You guys have a great day. If you need anything, message me on Discord, and I will catch you guys then. You take care.